Hello chess lovers, Suren here, and in this video I want to share with you a very interesting attacking game where we're going to see a formidable queen sacrifice with white pieces playing Yugoslav chess player Dragoljub Minic, who would earn Grandmaster title in 1991, and in this game his opponent is Slovenian chess Grandmaster Albin Planinc, who already at the time of this game was a Grandmaster. The game was played in a tournament held in Croatian cities Rovinj and Zagreb in 1975. Minic was playing with the white pieces opened up with e4, to which Planinc responded with e5. Knight f3, knight c6, bishop b5, we have the Ruy Lopez a6, Morphy defense, bishop a4, knight f6, white castled kingside, b5, bishop b3, and bishop b7, black is going for Archangelsk variation. And as white has already castled, goes for d4, trying to open up the position as soon as possible. It takes d4, e5, knight e4, and c3. Of course, capturing on d4 is not good, because like in Noah's Ark trap, by going for c5, c4, black can trap white's light squared bishop. That's why in our game we have c3, to which black responded with d3, thus making white's queenside development a bit harder. Queen f3 with a direct mating threat, queen e7, knight d2, and a very risky and aggressive approach by Planinc, castling queenside. I have to tell you that my engine is not understanding this move, instantly gives +2 advantage, but later the engine is going to change the evaluation. According to the engine in here, the best move is to move back the knight on c5. But in our game we have castling queenside, which is now going to lead to massive complications. Right now only one CPU is turned on, but I've even tried with turning on 4 CPUs. Again, the result is the same. Still at this point the engine can't see the consequences of castling queenside and gives white a huge advantage. So white accepted the piece sacrifice. We have knight takes e4 and queen takes e5. We have a nice pin. Rook e1, but by protecting the knight, white stepped into another pin, and this time we have f5. Queen g3, white is offering the exchange of queens, but of course queen takes g3 can be met with knight takes g3, that's why we have queen e8. Black is not only keeping this pin, but at the same time is provoking knight d6 check. And Minic went for it, announced the check from d6. Now he's going to win black queen. Bishop takes d6. A brutal queen sacrifice, right guys? And all white could do was to accept the queen sacrifice. Yeah, it looks like that there was no other option. We have rook takes e8 and rook h takes e8. Of course, bishop takes g3 can allow white to get an extra piece. That's why we have rook takes e8. Right now both the queen is hanging, and also there is a mating threat. Bishop f4, white is neutralizing both threats, but playing f4 is better. In this case, white is managing to simplify the position very quickly and repel black's attack. Here is how the line goes, and then after rook takes g2, white is giving up his queen, and white has a piece against 3 black pawns. Yeah, white has a slight advantage. But instead in our game, after rook e8, we have bishop f4. In return we have d2. Black is trying to make use of his passed pawn. Right now the threat is rook e1 check. Rook f1, other alternative is king f1, but we see rook f1 and rook e1 with the idea of putting the second rook on e8. At all costs black wants to exploit the back rank weakness. Bishop takes d6, and instead of recapturing, anyways, we have it, rook e8, f3. Otherwise there was a mating threat. That's why white is opening up a luft for his king. And another highly creative move by Planinc, bishop d5. This is a deflective move with which black wants to deflect white's light squared bishop, which is covering the d1 square, and go for a pawn promotion. Yeah, in this case Black is even announcing a checkmate, yeah. And then d1 queen is coming, the game is over. After bishop d5 we have queen f4, but this is another inaccuracy. Instead it was better to play bishop f4. If bishop c4, then white can capture on c4, and then to d1 queen, white can answer with bishop d3, though this is a very complex line and finding this is not an easy task. Still black has an initiative, but white is holding. But instead in our game after bishop d5 we have queen f4. Anyways, bishop c4 is on the board, a nice bishop maneuver, and finally white is opening up a luft for his king. All white king can do is to escape. The chicken king is escaping, meanwhile black rooks are intruding inside white's camp. Bishop takes c7, rook f2, and queen d6, which is a terrible mistake and is losing. At this point white could prolong his resistance with the following line by playing bishop d1. If rook takes g2 check, then king h1, and if bishop d5, then bishop b8. There is a mating threat, rook h2 check, after which white is giving up his queen, king g1, rook takes h2, king takes h2, bishop d1, bishop f4, and then black is making a very beautiful bishop b3 move. In return is winning a pawn, and despite the fact that black has 3 extra pawns, as we are in opposite color bishop endgame, white can give a try to save the game, though that's going to be extremely difficult. But instead we have queen d6, and this is something which is allowing black to win the game on the spot. There it goes. Once the g-pawn drops, black rooks are starting to harass white king. And then we have rook takes h4 check, king takes f5, rook h6, and resignation followed. It turns out that there is no safe square for white queen. If you announce a check from f8, then your bishop is no longer protected, and yep, there are so many threats that white is just defenseless. Or if queen f4, then black can either play bishop takes b3 or even rook f6, or if queen c5, then rook h5 is winning. Yep, threats are all over the board. That's why finally in here Dragoljub Minic resigned. A very complex game, I think, but all hail to Albin Planinc, who played this game like a machine, you know. Yes, if you compare it with engine moves, he was playing like a machine. In the end, a chess puzzle for you, which is also taken from a game played by Planinc, where the task is to find the winning move for black. It's black to move, and I will wait for your answer in the comment section. Thanks for watching. In the end, here are more suggestions for you. Feel free to check them out as well. I will see you in my next video. Take care.